5 years after the nation was captivated by the story of a 6-year-old boy apparently whisked away in a weather balloon, the Heen family still claim it was not a hoax. On the 15th of October 2009, in Colorado, Richard and Mayumi Heen caused an international uproar when they claimed that their 6-year-old son, Falcon, was inside a helium-filled balloon floating in the sky.
Oh. Okay, hold on, Brad. Cut. Record.
Yeah.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Whoa!
Oh my God. Okay. Are you in? Taylor!
Hey!
You didn't put the Taylor down! Spider-Man!
Falcon was dubbed Balloon Boy as he flew altitudes as high as 7,000 feet. Falcon's flight spanned 50 miles and lasted an hour before he landed, pursued by National Guard helicopters and local police. However, the balloon was found to be empty. Due to reports that something had dislodged from the balloon during the flight, authorities started a manhunt in the area, which brought up nothing. Meanwhile, Falcon had actually been spending the whole time hidden in the attic at his house. The whole incident was revealed to be a publicity stunt by the Heens, who had appeared on a few reality TV shows and were trying to launch a sci-fi program about the existence of aliens. During an interview on a news show, a reporter asked Falcon about the event on live TV. Falcon then responded by saying, "You guys said that we did this for the show."
We did this for the show.
In the day, did he hear anything? Did he hear you screaming out, "Falcon, Falcon"?
He's asking Falcon, did you hear us calling your name at any time? You did?
You did?
Why didn't you come out?
You guys said that we did this for the show.
Richard Heen was sentenced to 90 days in jail for the hoax, and they had to pay a $36,000 fine, while his wife was sentenced to 20 days of weekend jail. Later on, the incident remained a worldwide phenomenon, which became an internet meme and was even adapted into a musical comedy by Billy Resi entitled Balloon Boy, the Musical. Number 4. Gabriel Nagy. In Australia, on January 21st, 1987, Gabriel Nagy called his wife from work and told her that he was coming home for lunch. Unfortunately, this was the last time she would hear from him. Gabriel's burnt-out car was discovered on the side of the road the following day, and 2 weeks later, money was withdrawn from his bank account in order to purchase camping supplies. Following this final transaction, Gabriel vanished without a trace. In 2010, a full 23 years later, Gabriel Nagy's name appeared on a newly applied for Medicare card, and a police detective who had never given up on the search for him picked up on it. This occurred 2 weeks before an inquest that would have declared him dead. Upon being found, Nagy revealed that his earliest memory was of bleeding profusely from the head and that he had no recollection of who he was. Over the next 2 decades that he was missing, he had given himself a new name, worked odd jobs, and turned to alcoholism before being taken into work as a church caretaker. Nagy applied for the Medicare card to treat a cataract at around the same time that flashes of his real name began to return to him. Ultimately, Nagy said he was relieved that he hadn't been responsible for any crimes, as he said he always felt he was on the run from something, and was happy to be reunited with his family after 2 decades. Through photographs and talks with his family, Nagy has been able to regain large parts of his memory. Number 3. Ariel Castro kidnappings. Ariel Castro kidnapped 3 women between 2002 and 2004 after each accepted a ride from him, and they were lured into his home in Cleveland, Ohio. These women were Michelle Knight, 21, Amanda Berry, kidnapped the day before her 17th birthday, and Gina DeJesus, 14. The young women were kept in locked rooms in the upstairs portion of the house, or in the cellar, where they were fed 1 meal a day, showered not more than twice a week, and were made to use plastic toilets that were often emptied. The women kept diaries that told of sexual and emotional abuse, being chained to walls, death threats, and the overwhelming desire for freedom. Knight, the oldest of the ladies, was impregnated multiple times by Castro, who would then induce miscarriages by using severe physical violence and starvation. This would cause Knight to become deaf in one ear and, later on, require facial reconstructive surgery. Barry, on the other hand, was allowed to give birth to a daughter, who was frequently allowed out of the room under Castro's supervision. The women's escape was set off when Barry was able to get the neighbors' attention by screaming for help on May 16, 2013, after Castro did not lock one of the larger inside doors. The neighbors were able to break through the storm door, and Barry and her daughter were able to escape. She called emergency services and police came to the scene of the crime to rescue the other two women.
Cleveland 911.
Hello, please. Help me. I'm Amanda Berry.
You need police, fire, or ambulance.
I need police.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years and I'm here. I'm free now.
2 days later, Ariel Castro was arrested and charged. Castro pleaded guilty to 937 accounts of rape, kidnapping, and aggravated murder. Castro claimed to be a cold-blooded sex addict and apparently knew he would be arrested eventually. He was given a life plus 1,000 years sentence, but 1 month into serving his time, he committed suicide in his prison cell. A suicide note in his home stated that if he was caught, all the possessions and money were to be given to the women he had kidnapped. Number 2. Natasha Kampusch. In Austria on March 2nd, 1998, 10-year-old Natasha Kampusch was kidnapped by Wolfgang Peple on her way to school. She was missing for a total of 8 years. While in captivity, Natasha was kept in a windowless, soundproof cellar in her kidnapper's home and was beaten and starved in order to prevent her from escaping. She was also raped repeatedly by her abductor, Peple. He warned her that there were explosives in the house doors and windows and that he had a gun in hand at all times, ready to kill her if necessary. However, as time passed, she was given more and more freedom by her kidnapper and was eventually allowed to spend time in the rest of the house and go outside. She was even taken on a skiing trip by Peple, who throughout the period of her captivity also gave her books, newspapers, and a radio that allowed her to educate herself and develop mentally. Natasha Kampusch emerged back into the public eye on August 23, 2006, when she managed to escape from her captor while she was vacuuming his car and he had to take a phone call away from the noise. Seeing the opportunity, she made a ran for it and was able to convince a neighbor to call the police. Since turning up alive, Natasha has inspired multiple books, one of which she has written, and a movie. On the day Natasha escaped, Wolfgang Peple managed to evade police and took his own life by stepping in front of a moving train near Vienna Northern Station. Natasha now owns the house that she was previously held captive in. Number 1. John Darwin. One day in December of 2007, ex-teacher and prison officer John Darwin walked into a London police station and told officers that he believed he was a missing person. Darwin was last seen leaving the home 5 years earlier and was spotted on his red kayak in March of 2002. Darwin claimed that he had no recollection of anything that had happened to him on the time since he'd gone missing, but appeared to be free from any form of illness. Upon Darwin's initial disappearance, police put in maximum efforts in order to find him. But even the numerous helicopters and boats sent out were unable to uncover any traces of him. Eventually, a paddle which was believed to belong to the kayak was discovered. All hope seemed lost when the wreckage of Darwin's kayak was found in several locations. A year after his disappearance, John Darwin was declared legally dead. His wife, Anne, sold her home and moved to Panama in 2007. It was later revealed that Darwin and his wife had faked his death in order to claim life insurance money, and that he had been secretly living in their home since 2003, using a secret hole behind a wardrobe to move in from the family home to the bedsit next door, which they also owned. In 2006, while in Panama, this photo of John and Anne was taken into an estate agent's office which ended up online and was used as evidence against the couple. Darwin and his wife were both charged with fraud and were ordered to pay back more than £500,000 and were each sentenced to over 6 years in prison. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoy the video, please let me know by clicking the like button, share, write a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch up with my next video.